Hello and welcome. I was recently in Spain and I came across a number of leather goods brands. And there are four brands I'd like to introduce to you. I'm going to introduce you to three of the four in this video. The fourth brand I will talk about in a separate video because it's a little different to the three in this video, but different in a good way. What I liked about all four brands is firstly, the variety they're bringing to my channel. The variety in terms of the designs, the abundance of different designs, colors, and also leathers. I have a brand for every age group that watches my channel. So one of the brands, fantastic for my 20 to 30-year-olds. The second brand, my 30 to 40-year-olds. And then the third brand, my slightly older viewers, my age 50 and above. I also liked the quality of the leathers and the craftsmanship for the price point. All of their products are priced under $1,000 US. I'm Anesu Sagonda and I produce educational luxury content for anyone after the finer things, whether you're young and starting out in life and wanting to reap the benefits of buying better quality from the get-go, or you're new to money and wanting to learn how to navigate the terrain, or you're into luxury but want to focus more on high quality under the radar brands, then my content is geared towards you. The first brand is Lupo for my viewers that are about 30 to 40 years of age. And that's because of the elevated and slightly mature look and feel of not only the physical products, but also their boutique. They have a flagship boutique located in the center of Barcelona. I'm going to include the address details in the description box down below, coupled with the price point. Slightly more expensive, their bags are typically priced between about 500 euros going up to just over 900 euros for their most expensive bag. Lupo is a brand that was first started in 1920. It traded for a period of time and then it closed down and reopened again in 1998. And it has been in operation ever since. It's a corporate-owned brand. It's based in Barcelona. The bags are made in the south of Spain in Ubrique, and their leathers originate from either Italy or Spain. Spain, their state Pyrenees, which is Igualada. The brand first came onto my radar via their most iconic, their best-selling, their front-running style, the abanico. Abanico means a hand fan in Spanish. And I remember seeing the pictures on their website, incredibly polished, slick pictures. And I thought, you need to take them with a huge pinch of salt because the pictures are professional. They're meant to look a certain way. But I was intrigued by the abanico design. I had never seen anything like it anywhere else. And so when I went to Spain, Barcelona was one of the cities I went to. I went over to their showroom and I remember walking into their showroom. High ceilings, white walls, light, airy. The bags beautifully exhibited on the walls. There's a fixture in the middle as well, the neutral color palette. And I thought, interesting. Their designs overall are timeless. They are elegant with a very subtle design edge to styles that are fairly popular. Think of a hobo, shopper, tote, a work bag, for example, a clutch. And then coupled with the showroom, really slick, polished. It's an elegant showroom. And I thought, this is for someone who's a little more mature, a little more discerning, someone who is willing to pay a bit more, who does have the money, who's not all about just a high quality product that's well made, but also the experience, a really nice, well put together. I like the edge coating. It was thin, it was neat, it was evenly applied throughout, minimal branding. I just like the way it was put together. And I just thought, oh, the leather's thick, it's sumptuous, it's stiff, it's rigid, it's not going to soften, the sides will remain firm. It was smooth, it was calfskin. And on the inside, it was lined using suede. Their bags are all lined using suede and it's leather, or unless it's another material like raffia, for example, I'll talk about in a second. Boutique, and that's exactly what Lupo is. And I remember walking in and just being wowed by the aesthetic, the look, the feel, really elegant and classy. and making a beeline for the abanico. The abanico comes in 2 sizes. And I remember even before I touched the bag, I remember thinking, ooh, the leather looks really rich. It looks thick. It looked sumptuous. And I remember touching it and just immediately being struck by just how thick the leather felt. I like the stitching. It was neat. It was discreet. It was tucked away. You had to actually open out the little fan panels to see the stitching. And the front running style, the abanico, is available in 2 sizes, medium and large, 1 handle, and there's a tie on the top to tie both sizes. And the bags also come with an additional adjustable, detachable strap. So you can carry the bags over the shoulder or as crossbody bags. And I remember the bigger size, it also had a pouch included with the bag. And I thought, oh, this is nice. You can carry it with just the 1 handle in the crook of your arm, over your shoulder, or you attach the strap and carry it over the shoulder or as a crossbody bag. But it was definitely a style that was different. It was striking. It was noticeable. And it's something that you, carrying the bag, you walk into a room, people would notice it. It is different, and it's different in a way that's striking. The abanico is also available in a number of variations. There's also a shopper. It's the abanico, the fan panels, but rectangular shape with 2 handles that are fairly thick and wide. I liked them. And the inside suede and an additional pouch as well with the bag. And then a third variation there, which is the tote. And I remember seeing the tote, and I actually saw the tote last. Also the abanico shape and style, rectangular shape. But I just remember thinking, oh, I like this. It looks elevated. It was a tote that could pass for someone more mature, my age. I liked its elegance and its simplicity, non-fussy. It had 2 handles that were rolled handles, more of the circular handles. Inside had an insert, suede lining, an additional strap so you could carry the bag over the shoulder or as a crossbody bag. And I remember really wanting to pull the trigger, but it was only available in black and also in off-white color. 2 colors I'm not interested in. I don't buy black bags anymore. But I remember just stalling and thinking, oh my gosh, I really like this, and explored the possibility of ordering it online and getting it delivered to the store, but it meant staying in Barcelona for an extra day, which I didn't want to do. But I thought to myself, I like this. If I'm going to pull the trigger, it's the tote first and foremost. My second option would be the original abanico. I would consider it in chocolate brown, but I was so hung up on the tote, which I really liked. It looked elevated. It looked elegant. It really stood out, and I thought, this is nice. This is something I could carry for many years to come, and I'd get a lot of mileage from it. And it also came, if I hadn't included earlier, a pouch as well with the tote. And then the final variation is the raffia, an absolutely gorgeous little summer bag. The bulk material is raffia, 2 handles which are leather, and then the top drawstring in leather as well. Inside of the bag, pouch with drawstring as well, so you can close the top of the bag, and it also comes with a pouch. And I thought, oh, lovely, timeless, elegant summer bag you'll get many years wear from. And so I'm glad I went to see Lupo in Barcelona. I like their front running style, the abanico. I like the variations that they've created. And I look forward to going back and just waiting to see if they have in stock, on the occasion I go, a color I like. And I'll definitely consider buying one of their bags because I like the look. They're striking. They look expensive, but also they are well made, and I like the leather. And it'll be interesting just to see the wear and tear over time. But I have really high hopes in Lupo. The second brand is Mietis, and it's for my 20 to 30-year-olds, but my bougie 20 to 30-year-olds. I say bougie because Mietis bags are not cheap. They're typically priced between 500 and 800 euros. And I think that's a fairly punchy price point for someone in their 20s, as well as the designs and the colors, coupled with the really young owners of the brand who are trendy, they're hip, they're glamorous, and they literally lead the jet set lifestyle. And so if you're someone who is similar, you lead the jet set lifestyle, you are glamorous, you holiday, for example, in the south of France, Lake Como, you stay either in a villa or Villa d'Este or Gran Tremezzo, or you're someone who likes going to really fancy places and you want accessories that are appropriate for such places, then Mietis is absolutely fantastic. Mietis is actually part of a bigger family-run luxury group. The bigger group is called Fontanes and Marty, and it's a tannery that's based in Igualada, and it's run by the older generation of the family. Fontanes and Marty is actually one of Spain's foremost tanneries, alongside other heavyweight tanneries. Think, for example, Cortida Badia. They supply some of the big ticket brands, some of the well-known mid-lux brands. Think of Stowe and Strathberry, for example. Other tanneries like Meret, they supply Louis Vuitton with the vachetta for their handles. And Fontanes and Marty supply some of the big ticket brands as well. Think, for example, Louis Vuitton, Christian Dior, Hermès. And logic tells me Fontanes and Marty, the older generation of the family, want the younger generation that runs Mietis to also do well. And therefore, they would uphold the same standards that they have in place for the likes of Hermès and Christian Dior and supply Mietis with the same high quality leathers. That's what I think. Mietis, as I mentioned, is run by the younger generation. The founder of the brand and creative director is Maria, and she runs the brand alongside her younger brother, Fernando. And Fernando is responsible for the business side of things. I went to visit the flagship boutique. It's located in Barcelona, in the center of Barcelona. I'm actually going to include the address details in the description box down below. Mietis bags are actually made in Barcelona, and it's a young brand, as I mentioned, started in 2017. And I remember the day I went to see the brand, I walked into the showroom and I remember being met by an absolute riot of colors. There are two things that really stand out about Mietis, and I particularly like. These are the two things that are the brand's unique selling point. Firstly, the designs. They're young, they're funky, they are hip, coupled with the colors. They use, or rather they craft bags in colors that are all of the colors of the rainbow, but they tend to focus specifically on the hues that are bright, they're bold, they're vivid. And then they beautifully combine two tones, for example. Absolutely exquisite. Their bags are fabulous. And as I said, they're young, they're funky, they're trendy designs. They're perfect for the younger generation. They really look the part. If you literally are a jet setter, or you're somebody who just likes to be glamorous, you like to have an elevated look, Mietis is fantastic. The day I actually went in, Fernando happened to be in store, and he was incredibly gracious, and he went around the entire store with me, and we spoke in detail. I asked him a number of questions, which he very graciously answered. And so I was able to get a really good understanding of the brand. If you ever watched this video, Fernando, thank you. I really appreciate the time you took out to show me your brand. They craft not only leather goods and accessories, so think, for example, bags and wallets, card holders, for example, but they also have apparel. And I noticed leather jackets. I may have also seen, I think, a leather skirt, if I'm not mistaken. But as you can imagine, it's the same high quality leather. They are supplying the good and the great, and they are crafting leather jackets. Their leather jackets, I'd say, are for a younger generation, my 20 to 30-year-olds. They really look the part. They are beautifully made. I like the leather. I like the quality. And I remember seeing Fernando actually rocking one of the jackets, a green bomber jacket. And I've seen numerous Instagram pictures over the years where he's wearing the same jacket. So I'm confident the wear and tear is really good. But what I like is just the colors. They go for really bold, bright, young, fresh colors. Whilst going around, there are 4 styles I liked aesthetically, and they're the ones I will use to introduce the brand to you. The first is their front-running, their bestseller, their most popular, their iconic style. It's called Tatito. And Tatito is actually Fernando's nickname. It's a bag that comes in 3 different sizes, a top handle bag with an additional adjustable and detachable strap. So you can very comfortably carry the bag over the shoulder or as a crossbody bag. 1 cavernous compartment, and all of their bags are fabric lined. The second style, there are 2 styles. There is the Jill Night Out. It's a shoulder bag, and then there's the baguette version of the shoulder bag with a permanently attached strap that's adjustable, 1 cavernous compartment. And what I liked about the Jill Night Out and Colita is they're fairly simple, easy to wear styles, but the colors, the boldness, and also the mixing of the different colors just elevates what's a fairly simple design and just makes it really eye-catching and arresting. And here's Fernando chiming in with the details.
The fume technique, which you need to, each piece, you need to hand paint with the aerograph technique. So you have this, as you can see here,
Different
it goes
shapes.
from dark to less
It's hand
dark.
painted, yeah.
So this gives like a bit of volume and character to the bag. And I think it's one of our main, most iconic techniques for Mietis, as you can see here.
Yeah, it's lovely. I like it. The third is a bowling bag called Pluto. 2 handles, also comes with an additional strap so you can carry it over the shoulder or as a crossbody bag, and 1 cavernous compartment. 2 things really stood out when it came to the Pluto style. Firstly, I really liked the zip on top, really solid, weighted zip with a really strong, solid movement. But what I liked is the way they have it tucked under, and it's very discreet, it's tucked away. From a safety point of view, it's fantastic. And also aesthetically, it just makes it really neat and clean. And then the leather. The leather is eye-catching, it's 2-tone, and Fernando chimed in with the details.
As you can see, each piece, it's hand painted by hand, one by one. So we cover this part and we hand paint to cause these volumes through all the bag. And as you can see, this is one of the most iconic techniques and bags we have for Mietis, which is the Pluto khaki. We have the logo here embossed and the ladybug, our logo, at the back.
Cute.
A sign of luck.
The final style is the tote. It's called Maxito, and it's a fairly sizable tote. Different shape to what we typically see in the industry at the moment, and it's a sizable tote that can comfortably take 2 laptops. Also comes with an additional strap, so you can carry it over the shoulder or as a crossbody bag, but I've been more inclined to use the handles. They're 2 handles, either over the shoulder or in the crook of your arm. And I also like the braided handles. I look forward to seeing what the future holds for Mietis in terms of just the designs that they come out with, and also their product extension, what other products they start to introduce to the brand. But I do remember also seeing a limited edition Valentine's bag that they had in red, which has done well, and they've gone on to produce the same bag in, I think, a nude color. So it'll just be interesting to see what other pieces come out. Maria has an incredibly creative eye in terms of just the designs, the creativity, and the colors she combines, and she combines them incredibly well. So this is definitely a brand I look forward to seeing how it continues to evolve. The third and final brand is Lottusse 1877, and it's for my older viewers, so viewers my age 50 and above. And I remember walking into their boutique. They have a few boutiques in Spain, but I went to the one in Valencia. And I remember walking in and just thinking, oh, I like this brand. This is my sort of brand. And this was based on the colors as well as the designs. The designs are feminine. They are elegant. They're sophisticated. And what I liked is some of the details, the weave pattern, for example, or the braided detail. I hadn't seen it anywhere else. And I thought, this is really nice. This is different. You won't see this everywhere. And the price point, absolutely fantastic. Really, really good for what you're getting. Lottusse 1877 is actually a family-run business in the 4th generation, and it's based in Mallorca, and that is where their products are also made. But what stood out was, firstly, they started with shoes first and foremost, and then introduced bags. And they are focused on Goodyear welted shoes. Not all of them, some of them. But the ones that are not Goodyear welted, the craftsmanship that's gone into them is amazing. Lottusse is the first brand I've seen, and I thought, for years, I have always said the leading brand within the retail space is Manolo Blahnik. Nobody beats Manolo Blahnik in terms of the high quality of the materials they use, leather throughout their shoes, leather soles, for example, really good quality leather for the uppers, the insoles, the outsoles. Everything is high quality leather. But Lottusse 1877 is amazing. They give Manolo Blahnik a run for their money, and they are doing a fantastic job at a fraction of the price. I went in with the intention of actually buying a bag. And their bags are made using individually made knots. They're literally thousands of knots on the bags. And they take, depending on the size of the bag, over 100 hours. The bigger bags, you're looking at about 140, 150 hours when it comes to the making of the knots, and it's all done individually. And I remember seeing the knots and thinking, wow, I like this. Fabric lined on the inside, really robustly well-made bags. And they are made using a combination of either lambskin or goatskin leather. But I also noticed the shoes, and I thought, some of the shoes made me think of Loro Piana. If you're somebody who likes the aesthetic of Loro Piana, but you don't have Loro Piana money, then Lottusse is an absolutely fantastic alternative. I actually ended up buying a pair of shoes. I would have also liked to have bought a bag, and in particular the clutch. It can be carried with or without the strap, which is adjustable. But I couldn't find a color I liked. They only had red and I think nude and maybe even purple. I can't remember, but there wasn't a color in stock that I actually liked. But it's a classic style, and it's a range called Nod Bag, and there are many different styles within the Nod Bag range. I would assume that is the name of the knotted range. But I definitely will keep an eye on Lottusse, and if I see a color I like in the clutch, or maybe a slightly bigger, medium-sized shoulder bag, I may just pull the trigger. But I ended up buying a pair of shoes. The shoes were unique, but what caught my attention, actually in equal measure, the aesthetic of the shoes as well as the craftsmanship. They're called Delice. They're made using goatskin, bust leather, and woven leather. And I just remember putting them on, the comfort. And then when I looked at the shoe, the craftsmanship, I thought, you know what, Manolo Blahnik, move to the side. This shoe is outstanding. It is so incredibly well made. If you look on the underside, it's stitched. When I tried to lift parts of it to see if there's any gluing, to try and figure out how it's been put together, it has been solidly crafted. Beautifully done. I can replace the sole in time if it wears through. But from an aesthetics point of view, from a craftsmanship point of view, and I think I paid about 250 euros, but I obviously got the VAT back. So it ended up being possibly around 200 pounds. And if it had been Manolo Blahnik, we're easily talking 600 to possibly 700 pounds. But I would actually say I was actually a lot more impressed by the craftsmanship than I am by Manolo Blahnik. And Manolo Blahnik is a brand that's always blown my imagination. And I've always said, oh my gosh, these are amazing. But Lottusse have actually overtaken Manolo. They give them a solid run for their money. And so it's a brand, whenever I'm in Spain, if I know I'm going over, I will definitely take a look at what they have. I remember even seeing a pair of shoes online and just thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to go overboard with this brand because it's fantastic. Buy them once and you just keep resoling and you wear them for life. They become heirloom and you can pass them on to someone else when you get tired of the design, or you'd like something new, or you just outgrow the style, for example. So that's Lottusse 1877, Mietis, and Lupo. 3 fantastic brands I stumbled upon in Spain. Any thoughts, any questions, as always, let me know in the comment section down below.